Okay. Titikshaya karunaya titikshaya karunaya maitraya chakila jantushu samatvena cha sarvatma Bhagavan samprasidhati titikshaya karunaya maitraya chakila jantushu samatvena cha sarvatma Bhagavan samprasidhati titikshaya karunaya Maitreya Chakhila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidhati. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. But it is the duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection to act in accordance with this verse. There are three stages of devotional life. In the lowest stage, a devotee is simply concerned with the deity in the temple, and he worships the Lord with great devotion according to the rules and regulations. In the second stage, the devotee is cognizant of his relationship with the Lord and his relationship with fellow devotees, his relationship with persons who are innocent, and his relationship with persons who are envious. Sometimes devotees are ill treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show complete mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. A preacher devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons whom he can elevate to Krishna consciousness. Everyone, by constitutional position, is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. As for a devotee's treatment of other devotees who are his equals, he should maintain friendship with them. His general view too should be to see every living entity as part of the Supreme Lord. Different living entities appear in different forms of dress, but according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, a learned person sees all living entities equally. Such treatment of the devotee is very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. It is therefore said that a saintly person is always tolerant and merciful. He is a friend to everyone, never an enemy to anyone, and he is peaceful. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee. The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. Hare Krishna. Interestingly, the same instruction which here Srila Swayambhuva Manu is giving to Srila Dhruva Maharaj. Uh, Interestingly, the same instruction to Dhruva Maharaj is given to Narad Muni also. This is when Srila Dhruva Maharaj is a small boy and he is very angry and so angry, and he's having such a vengeful attitude towards his stepmother Suruchi, that owing to her maneuvering, Uttanapad Maharaj had insulted Dhruva, was burning with vengeance. He was hissing like a snake. His breathing was like hissing like a snake. That is explained. So so that time when Mother Suniti appealed to Dhruva to go to forest and take shelter of Lord Vishnu, because that his hankering for love can be satisfied by Lord Vishnu. That time in the forest he met Narad Muni. Now Narad Muni is giving him this instruction as well. Uh, uh, what is that verse? Moodam lipset. What is the first word there? Maitrim samanam anvichet nabhaver. What is that? Moodam lipset. It comes in fourth canto itself. It's the same verse, the same instruction. Gun adhikan mudam lipset. Yes, gun adhikan. Gunadhikan mudam lipset. Anukrosha gunadhamat. Maitrim samanam anvichet. Nataper abhibhuyate. Gun adhikan mudam lipset. Anukroshat gunadhamat. Maitrim samanam anvichet nataper abhibhuyate. Now this Narad is telling, and here we are hearing from Swayambhu Manu, right? Here we are hearing from Swayambhu Manu, and Narad is giving the same instruction as Dhruva, and Dhruva is a small boy. This verse, this instruction forms the crux of the science of behavior. Forms the crux of the science of behavior. So Narad Muni is telling Dhruva Maharaj in the same verse. So that will be in the previous chapters. That'll be in the previous chapters. I believe it'll be there in the chapter 8. Yeah, because this is 11. I think it will come in chapter 8. Narad Muni is telling Dhruva Maharaj, Guna Adhikan Guna. So Narad Muni is saying that when one sees and relates with people who are more qualified than us, And Children Harmony is telling when one sees and relates to people who are more qualified than us, then one should feel very happy. Moodam lipset. One should be very, very happy and elated. So when one sees people gun adhamat, anukrushat, when one sees people or relates with people who are less qualified than us, then gun adhamat means they have less qualities than us, are less qualified. Then what should be the attitude? The attitude should be one should be very compassionate. So as here it's being said, one should be very compassionate. Gun adhamat. Maitrim samana manviche. To those who are equals, one should do friendship. Yeah. So these three aspects are being, and then Narad is telling, so one follows the science of behavior, then what happens? Such a person will never experience any misery in this. Yeah, not appear. Such a person abhibhuyate. Yeah, not appear abhibhuyate. Such a person will never experience any misery in this material world. So one wants to be free from all the miseries, and one should follow the science of behavior. Actually, Nadmani is telling, and here Sambhu Manu is further elaborating that. So the fourth point here, additional, is Titik When one meets envious people, one should just tolerate. One should not react. Because envious people, any reaction, positive or negative, will lead to feeding and fluffing of the envy. Not like that. Therefore, one should not react. One should just tolerate. Neglect. Tolerate. That's it. So, so it's the same thing. So here, as is being explained, Titishuka, Karunaka, what is that next? Maitrim. That Titishuka for the envious. Karunakat, compassionate for the less qualified. As Nalmani is also saying. Same thing. So, Karunika. No? And Samana, those who are equal levels, Maitrim. Maitrim. And yes, those who are superior, one should feel very happy. Nadmani is adding that. So both these verses are very, very similar to each other, and they're teaching the science of behavior. Generally, when one meets people who are more qualified than us, then a person starts feeling envious. Instead of person starts feeling envious, and that is the right mentality, or that is the exact mentality to ensure immense agony and misery. So feeling envious is the right mentality to ensure immense agony and mercy and misery. So because one is not feeling happy seeing people who are more qualified, one is saying, "Hey, when will I be like that? When will I be at the top of the ladder?" No? So that kind of quality ensures that one will be absolutely miserable. Then Prabhupada explains that, and when one meets people who are less qualified than us, generally there is a tendency to exploit them. Hey, exploit them. There's a tendency to exploit them. Just like we see many times in graduation colleges, uh, many times seniors, they get their lab writing assignments and all written by the first year, second year students. Exploit them. They generally exploit them. So, so instead of exploitation, so now exploitative mentality ensures extreme misery in one's life. That's what is being said. Now, so instead of exploitation, there should be compassion. There should be compassion. Anukroshat, gunadhamat. There should be compassion. And then Prabhupada explained that generally when one is with equals, there is a tendency to brag about oneself. अरे तुम्हारा छोड़ो, मैं बताता हूँ मैंने क्या किया, है ना? मैंने बुक मैराथन में ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया, है ना? This incident, that incident, है ना? And then Hari Bol, है ना? So one wants to brag about oneself to equals. And that is a perfect recipe for being perpetually miserable. So, therefore, here, So therefore, these attitudes are being told. Here in today's verse, the same appeal is there, the same instruction is there, and the falashruti which is being told is that when one has these qualities, then such a person becomes very pleasing to the Supreme. Such a person's activities. So Titikshvaka Karunaya Maitri, such a person's activities become very, very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord cannot be pleased. We cannot please the Supreme Lord with our opulence, with our skill, with our powers, with our prowess. Srila Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev explains, Manyedana Vijana Rup Tapashrota Aujasa Tejo Prabhava Bala Paurusham Buddhi Yoga. And the last line he says, Bhaktim Tutosha Bhagavan Gajayuthapaya. Bhaktim Tutosha Bhagavan Gajayuthapaya. So, in this verse again, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Manye Dhana Bijana Rupa. The Lord can never be, we can never please the Supreme Lord by our wealth, by our high birth, aristocracy, by a beautiful form, morphological form, the bodily beauty. We cannot please the Supreme Lord. Tapa, Shrota, Aujasaha. Tapa means by austerity, by scholarship, by ojas, tejas, effulgence, effulgence, no, the tapobal, the effulgence. One cannot be the Supreme Lord about that. By dexterity, hard work, skills, the Lord is not pleased. How can the Lord be pleased? Prahlad Maharaj is saying the Lord can only be pleased by devotional service. Bhaktya Tutusha Bhagavan. The Lord is only pleased by devotional service. The activities of bhakti, devotional service. Bhaktya Tutosha Bhagavan. Just like Gajendra Maharaj. Gaja Yutha Paya. How Gajendra Maharaj, Prahlad is saying that just like see Gajendra Maharaj attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Gajendra Maharaj did not do any austerity. He was not standing on one leg. He was not away the Pandit. He was not doing any austerity. Gajendra Maharaj was, he simply took shelter of Krishna and offered a lotus flower to Krishna, offered prayers to Krishna fervently, and he got delivered. So, the bhakti to the Supreme Lord is the only way by which Krishna can be pleased. Now, interestingly, the bhakti in the heart has a very beautiful connection with the behavior. Bhakti in the heart has a very beautiful connection with the science of behavior. The connection is what? That the bhakti in the heart manifests in the form of perfect behavior and dealings with all kinds of people, higher in quality, lower in quality, same in quality, envious, with all kinds of people, perfect dealings. So when there is bhakti in the heart, there is it will naturally manifest as perfect dealings. So therefore, a devotee who is having bhakti in the heart will always have compassion when it comes to innocent people. Will always have great respect and worshipful attitude towards all senior devotees. Will always have great friendship, heart-to-heart friendship, and the spirit to serve and extend for one's equal devotees. So the science of behavior is naturally manifest when there is bhakti in the heart. But in our case, that case is not so much relevant because there is lack of the bhakti tattva in our heart. At least in my heart, there's a lot of lack of bhakti tattva. So that lack of lot of heart of bhakti tattva is just, so how will the perfect behavior science function? Then it is said that then it is said that that you see behavior is such a thing that, see, there is something called as default. Default means natural instinct, that is what is going to happen. But in human life, the special prerogative is that if you are careful and attentive, one can check the default instinctive behavior, and one can behave according to a uh, carefully wanted behavior pattern. One can stand by that. One can do that. This is the special prerogative of human form fly, especially that we can actually, if we want, we can actually hold. If we want, we can actually hold our. If we want, we can actually hold our this uh, instinctive proclivity. We can hold our instinctive proclivities and behave by a set fashion. Even materialistic people are able to do that. Just like in business, one has to be very sweet and talk very sweetly. One may be wanting to box the other person, but externally, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. We are there for you, sir. We care for you, sir. So that is, you see, that is overcoming instinct. If materialists can do that, definitely devotees can do that. Definitely devotees can do that. So it may not be default. Default may not be a smile. Default may be an abuse or a punch. But so this is a special feature, but one should not just use this particular feature or aspect simply to exploit others, to manipulate others. But one should use this aspect to, Prabhupada is saying, to preach Krishna consciousness. One should use this particular aspect. So very carefully, with great attention, one should very carefully, with great attention, one should very carefully, with great attention, one should uh, 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 withhold one's instinctive behavior and channelize one's behavior in according to the dictates of the Vaishnava etiquettes, which the acharyas have been so according to the dictates which the acharyas have been giving us, according to the dictates which the acharyas have been giving us. Dictates which the acharyas have been giving us, and it is explained here that the Supreme Lord becomes very pleased by these Vaishnava etiquettes. So if we behave, if we channelize our attentiveness and endeavors to withhold ourselves from instinctive behavior and and channelize ourselves in the behavioral patterns which are given to happen, the bhakti in our heart is going to blossom. That is a science. And that is something very beautiful and hope giving for us. That the bhakti in our heart is going to blossom. And the bhakti in our heart is going to blossom. And that is what Srila Nadmuni and Srila Sambhu are emphasizing. That we stand by these principles of divine behavior, the science of behavior. Shanarmani is saying we will not experience misery. the 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 misery, the experience of misery is a result of abuse of this science of behavior, of the abuse of Vaishnava etiquettes. There is not going to be any misery. And that's why Manu is telling here that this is pleasing to the Lord. So this will purify our hearts. This will purify our hearts. In that sense, we can understand that to the degree we stand by these principles of behavior, or we uphold these principles of behavior, as is being explained here, uphold these principles of behavior, to that degree, our heart becomes, not to that proportion, our heart becomes fertile to receive more and more mercy of the Lord. To that extent, our heart becomes fertile enough to soak the mercy of the Lord. And when one is fully soaked up, then following the science of behavior becomes very natural, like that. It becomes very natural. So, but when one is careless and reckless towards that, uh, then that leads to so much. Then that leads to so much misery when one is careless and reckless towards that. So, so much agony, so much misery, because there is emptiness of the mind, the restlessness of the mind. An envious person is the most dissatisfied, right? and and a humble and grateful person is most satisfied and ecstatic. Right? You see, Krishna consciousness is so nice. You don't need anything. You can just watch others and appreciate others and be happy. Because at any given point of time, somebody is happy, and if you learn how to be happy in others' happiness, we can always be happy, and we'll never have a starvation. So, if a person only wants to be happy in his or her own happiness, then such a person will experience starvation. But when a Vaishnava is always happy, because Vaishnava learns the art of being happy in the happiness of others, one is always having a stock of happiness. There is no starvation at all, is it not? Because so we are fortunate if we get the mercy. But we are also fortunate if another devotee gets some mercy. Why? Because we are fortunate enough to be related to him, and therefore the mercy can be conducted. If you remember when His Grace Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu had come, Prabhuji was telling in the Bhagavatam class that he got an opportunity to get association of Srila Prabhupada, and he was sitting 10 inches from Srila Prabhupada, just tightly glued up to Prabhupada and looking at Prabhupada on one side. But Prabhupada is not looking at him. He said Prabhupada is looking at his servant, who was sitting on the other side, just next to Prabhupada, Shrutakirti Prabhu. And Shrutakirti Prabhu was ecstatic, and Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu was also ecstatic. So Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu looking at Prabhupada, Prabhupada was looking at Shrutakirti Prabhu, and Shrutakirti Prabhu was so ecstatic, and he's smiling, and with a broad smile, he's looking at Shrutakirti Prabhu looking at Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu. And Prabhu got a realization and feeling that Prabhupada is glancing at him, giving mercy to him, and he is radiating that mercy to me by looking at me and smiling at me. So how is it different? I mean, how is it different? So he said, therefore, I was not envious of him. Rather, I felt myself fortunate that I am getting proper mercy through him. Proper mercy and grace is reflecting through him to me. And he was ecstatic. He was not saying, hey, proper not looking at me. Proper doesn't know me only, that I exist. So what is my name, my existence, my individuality? No. He was feeling so ecstatic like that. So this is the point. So this is the point. See, when we serve others, they will serve us back. And when we try to manipulate and exploit others, they will box us back. So when you get a box, will be, will be very painful. Like that. Therefore, better not be exploitative. And therefore, better be compassionate. Better be compassionate. So, so similarly in friendship, we so we make friends, we stand to gain a lot. No? We brag ourselves, we are isolated. Then we don't have any help. We don't have anybody to help us. So we all like that. So this is a great science of relationships. which is being explained here. Titikshukha, Karuka, Maitrim. These are great qualities which can not only save oneself from the misery and tribulations of this material world, but which can also install and instill bhakti in our hearts and purify us. Let's stop here for today. Do you have any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then,
Hare Krishna, have a look.
so, Prabhuji, my question is that like these three principles, are more qualified, less qualified, and equals. So, is this applicable in between husband and wife also? Like, husband wife will see them as more qualified or equals?
Okay. So, yes. Uh, mm, so there are yes. Uh, uh, so there is a mix of both type of feelings. Uh, One prime feeling is of friendship. Husband and wife relationship. One prime feeling is of friendship. That is the prime feeling, which should be the so it is equal and it is friendship, because they're no, so husband wife, they are like friends, they're helping each other, serving Krishna better. So that is friendship, like that. And then along with that, now this friendship becomes more sweet when there is this feeling of when there is the other feeling also which is added. What is that feeling? That the wife is feeling, okay, the husband is more qualified than me, the better devotee than me, let me serve him very nice. And the husband is feeling the wife is more qualified than me, she is more dear to Krishna than me, she is more devoted to and dear to the guru than me, let me serve her very nice. So when both are feeling like this, and therefore that friendship, that inherent, I mean that baseline friendship becomes even more sweeter, even more sweeter. So it is a baseline friendship, and then both should feel like this. The husband should not feel, oh, the I am more qualified, because I have degrees, I have training, I have this, I have so on, so on. And the wife should not feel, no, I am initiated, I am more qualified, So like that. So there should be, so both are feeling, okay, I am less qualified. The other person is a better devotee. You know? This is Vaishnav mood. So there is baseline friendship, and that can be made more sweeter by this attitude. This is a Vaishnav attitude. Uh, it's like in anything we add sugar or good, it becomes very tasty. In Odisha, in vegetables also they add good, it becomes very tasty. For Jagannath, like that. So similarly, when we feel that other devotee is more qualified than me, that is like adding good in the relationship. So even if it is spicy relationship, you add good, it becomes khatta meeta, irresistible taste, like that. So that way, this is like that. Yes, yes. So Vaishnav always feels others more qualified than oneself. Like, so it's like that.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And I have one more question. Like, what do you say when you distribute books? Any tips would you like to share?
What do we say when we distribute books? Yes. Uh, Distributing books is but distributing books is more of an appeal. It's more of an appeal that we are appealing to people that this is manual for life. This can change one's life. This knowledge is transformative. It can instill auspiciousness in our lives. Bhagavad Gita has a solution to all the problems of our life. The setting of Bhagavad Gita and the setting of this world is the same. Arjuna was stressed out today, everybody is stressed out. So our position not very different from Arjuna. Arjuna was so qualified. We also have various qualifications now, the graduate degree, job, MNC job, so on and so forth, like that. The situation is the same. Arjuna's skill and expertise was not able to help him come out of that stressful situation which real life situations bring about. The same is our situation. But then as we see Arjuna connected to Krishna, and we can also connect with Krishna to taking this message of Gita. So we'll be empowered. Arjuna became victorious, we will also become victorious. This is the victory formula, Gita. So we can explain. It. It teaches us the science of mind. We can learn mind control. We can learn the science of relationships. Today we're talking about science of relationships. Most of the problems in our life are because of uh, wrong behavior in a right relationship. Every relationship is right, but we behave wrongly, and therefore it brings a lot of miseries to us. So Bhagavad Gita teaches the science of relationships. This wrong behavior or wrong reaction many times happens because of wrong perception. Bhagavad Gita teaches us the science of engineering our perception and our behavior in such a way that even in the negative and provocative situations, we can churn out auspiciousness. So it is much more, it is like a very powerful mining metallurgy science, that even in a so-called negative situation, how to extract positivity, auspiciousness, Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So like that we can appeal to people. Like that we can appeal to people. So that Bhagavad Gita can be so helpful, transformative, and
So I have one question.
yes.
So when we our default reflex action when we like thoughtfully give the more better response, but it keeps building up inside us when it's like progressing. So it becomes little artificial or like because when we want to deal in a default reflex way, but we choose not to do that. But inside our mind, it's still going on or it's there. So how to deal with that?
Yes. So this behavior is very much true when one doesn't have any basis on which one is trying to withhold oneself. So default behavior, we may blurt out, explode, and we may become quiet. Other person is devastated, So that may come very natural. But when we try to stick to the Vaishnava principles, it may lead to a lot of implosions. Implosions within. It may lead to implosions within when we don't have a very strong basis in our heart. So that's what happens very much to outside people, that they try to behave in a good way, but they cannot hold it, and then they vomit out a very bad behavior at some point of time, like like not a volcano, it is very peaceful and quiet, but after some time it's like exuding lava and all that, that happens. So, but for a devotee, we have option of behaving of doing better than that. How? So that which is getting pent up in the heart, that can get dissolved by the power of bhakti. When we when we start seeing and evaluating that situation in the light of bhakti, then one can chastise oneself and curse oneself that how wicked I am, that I am thinking like this nonsense, no fire upon me, no. So in that way, all these wicked kind of default attitudes, one can actually spit on them, one can box them out by intaking of Krishna Bhakti more and more, by hearing and chanting more and more. So when we hear and chant, we will say, oh, Guru is behaving like this, and I am supposed to be representing the Guru, and look at me, how nasty I am thinking to behave. Enough? So let me remove these thoughts off from my mind. So in that way, we see the more we hear, the more we understand the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, the science of Krishna Consciousness, the more we hear Krishna Katha, the glories of the devotees, that can dissolve these pent up feelings. That can actually dissolve these pent up feelings. We can actually give it up for eternity, like that. Uh, we can give it up for eternity. Like many acharyas, many times have appealed to their disciples to give up enmity for each other, and on their appeal, they've given it up. That means by the power of the connection to the acharya, the dedication to the acharya, their word, his words, they've given it up. So it's possible to uproot it and give it up like that. So therefore, as a devotee, we are a little better off because We have opportunity to dissolve all the pent up implosions by feeding more and more Krishna Katha, the Vaishnav Katha, the preaching Katha, the Sankirtan Katha, the more and more we feed in, all that kalmash will get dissolved. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Tyam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Naishtaki Bhakti means no more implosions within. It won't be, the immune system is so strong, it won't be able to enter, like that. So that's how we can understand.
We are living normally with the right person. We should understand that we are feeling we are duplicitous in our behavior. But we should understand the other person is dear to Guru and Krishna. So if we don't have that loving feeling toward other person, we should develop it.
Yes.
So we should not, there is a lack of sense of belongingness and relation with other person because a child behaves badly with the parents, but still parents are so attached to the child. But if the wife or husband behaves badly, they are not able to take it up. So the tolerance in relationship and continuing right behavior, appreciating the good in others, will make the relationship nice in due course of time. So if we deal with our spouse or any devotee that they are very dear to Guru and Krishna, then our behavior will not be duplicitous.
Yes.
And we will rectify ours. We will try to say good enough. So there is lack of love toward other person, and that is because lack of love toward Krishna. So when we increase our bhajan, we will have that भगवान के साथ रिश्ता अच्छा होगा तो दूसरों के साथ भी रिश्ता अच्छा हो जाएगा लेकिन दूसरों के साथ रिश्ता अच्छा करने के लिए भगवान और गुरु को बीच में लाना होगा so for a higher cause everyone can cooperate
Yes.
and for our petty false ego and small जो कहानियां रहती हैं किसी भी बात पे झगड़ा कर सकते हैं.
Yes, very true. When we see every relationship in the light of Guru and Krishna or through Guru and Krishna, it's possible to wipe off the implosions. It's possible. So that's the beauty of science of behavior, the Vaishnav behavior, that one can cultivate it. It's possible to cultivate it. The Acharyas and Krishna are giving the guarantee, and they are going to help us. Like that. So we have to endeavor, and it's possible to cultivate. With that hope, with that faith, we can go on forward.
We are always conscious that Guru is seeing us.
Yes.
Krishna is seeing us. How we are dealing with other person. Then we cannot be duplicitous because inside also are one way.
Yes. Very
We cannot have two ways.
Yes.
There is only one way. That is Vaishnava.
Yes. Okay, so let's stop here for today. Granth Raj Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.